You know, this is my first coffee in 2 weeks. I've been very sick. I had food poisoning twice, back to back. Today we're talking about 13 of the best black dial watches that you may have missed in 2024. From $400 all the way up to $40,000. First, we start off with a new brand, a brand that just came out in 2024, but it's actually not new. It's actually a revival of an older brand that used to make watch cases for brands like Longines, Omega, JLC. This is Dennison. And this time, the brand has been revived in partnership with Emmanuel Gayet, an absolute legend in the watch industry, brains behind the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak offshore. So what they're doing is they're creating these ultra affordable watches, but with unique cases and unique dials. I love their stone dials, but for this list, I'm looking at the Sunray Black dial. It comes in a 33.65mm stainless steel case with a lug-to-lug of 37mm, a thickness of 6.1mm, a lug width of 20, sapphire crystal, 30 meters of water resistance, and a Swiss Ronda quartz caliber, which allows this watch to sit just under $500. Next, we have a Tissot. I haven't talked about Tissot in a long time, but Tissot has had a great year. They've released some absolute bangers last year. The one that I want to talk about is the PR516 Powermatic 80. Just as a simple time-only watch, I think this model got overshadowed by the chronograph. I mean, look at the design, look at the finishing. It's absolutely gorgeous. 38mm case size, 44 lug-to-lug, just 11.2mm thickness, lug width of 20, sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, and a Powermatic 80 caliber, which gives you 80 hours of power reserve and costs just around $800. If you're looking for a best do-it-all, everyday sort of sports watch or an everyday watch under $1,000, I think this is a great option. And also, this is the cheapest Bond watch ever. I was supposed to start with that. The original version that this watch is based on was worn by Roger Moore in Live and Let Die. So this has some proper Bond heritage. Next, we have the Seiko SPB453. Look, I've had a few Seiko dive watches, but most of them were entry-level Seiko 5s. But there's a hole in my collection that is just wanting a mid-range Seiko dive watch, and I think this is a really strong contender. 40mm stainless steel case, 46.4mm lug-to-lug, 13mm thickness, and a lug width of 20mm. You have a curved sapphire crystal, 300 meters of water resistance means that this is a proper sports watch, a proper dive watch, and a 6R55 caliber inside, giving you 72 hours of power reserve. All of this coming in at just $1,300. Okay, I want to talk about a trend that I started noticing last year with watches not really being dress watches, not really falling into any of the known categories, but forming their own very design-forward category. And I think that's something that people have been looking forward to, and it's the Serica Parade. And on either of the dials, this is just a super cool watch. Having a different type of presence, it allows this watch to be different from anything else. 35mm case size, 41 lug-to-lug, just 8.6mm thickness, lug width of 18mm. And what surprised me about this is that it offers 100 meters of water resistance, making it a very capable daily watch. You have a Swiss soap rod M100 caliber inside with 42 hours of power reserve and a frequency of 4 Hz. And this watch comes at $1,400. Next, we have Oris, and this is the Oris Diver's Date. It seems like Oris took everything that the enthusiasts and the watch collectors had been complaining about when it came to the Diver 65, and they fixed all of those things in this new release. You get 3 colors, 3 absolute banging colors, and the black is, of course, the most versatile, can go with everything. 39mm case size, 46.5mm lug-to-lug, so it wears really well. Thickness of 12.1mm and a 19mm lug width. You get a box sapphire crystal, which gives it that vintage vibe. But finally, we have 200 meters of water resistance in addition to an exhibition case back through which you can see the Oris Caliber 733, which is based on the Sellita SW200. All this for $2,700. The next watch on this list isn't technically a 2024 model. It came out in 2023, but I think it deserves a shout out because it is such a cool watch that I completely missed. And this is the Sinn T50 Titanium. The watch comes in a 41mm tegimented grade 5 titanium case with a lug-to-lug of 47mm, a thickness of just 12.3mm, and a lug width of 20mm. A Sellita SW300 caliber inside, and it costs just under $5,000. The amount of watch that you're getting incomparable to anything else in this price point. And what's surprising is that this watch offers 500 meters of water resistance. And speaking of cases, this has a tegimented treated grade 5 titanium, meaning that it is absolutely scratch resistant. And it has a press first then turn mechanism, which means that you won't accidentally turn the bezel when diving. Next on the list, we have a Bell & Ross PR03 Horizon. This is a limited edition of 999 pieces. The instrument collection is hands down my favorite collection when it comes to Bell & Ross. There's just something playful about it, but also very iconic. I mean, when you think of Bell & Ross, you think of cockpit instruments, and this is where they shine. This is their playground. You have a fully ceramic 41mm case with a lug-to-lug of 50mm, so this will wear a bit large on the wrist, but you have just 10.6mm thickness thanks to the modified SW300 Ultra Slim caliber inside, which offers 54 hours of power reserve and a frequency of 4 Hz. And this costs $4,600. Next on the list, we have the new Tudor Pelagos GMT Zulu Time. You know how whenever there's a new Tudor release, there's always this surge of positivity, of Tudor hype. That can distort your personal opinion. So I had to kind of wait and see how I felt about it. And now that I look back at it, I do kind of like it. 42mm grade 2 titanium case, 51.2 lug-to-lug, 12.7mm thickness, and lug width of 22mm. You have an in-house caliber MT5652. This is a METAS certified movement, so it's highly robust, highly anti-magnetic, and you get 300 meters of water resistance. And then on the list, we have the new Longines Ultra-Chron in carbon. This is the definition of a sports watch in every way possible. Now, the interesting thing about this watch is that this again is part of a new trend where we have these general sports watches. More and more brands are experimenting with materials, not just for aesthetics, but also for comfort, for robustness, for durability, and this falls under those categories. This watch comes in a 43mm carbon fiber case with a fixed aluminum bezel. You get a thickness of 13.6mm, which includes the sapphire crystal, 300 meters of water resistance, making it very capable as a do-it-all sports watch. And inside you have the Longines automatic caliber L836.6. This movement is made exclusively for Longines with a high beat of 5 Hz and 52 hours of power reserve, and it costs $4,900. I mean, this wouldn't be a top 10, top 13 list if it didn't include an Omega. This is the Omega Seamaster Professional 300 No Date. For me, this is my favorite Seamaster variation, especially when it comes to the modern versions. You get a 42mm case size. I mean, the rest of the specs are the same as any standard current generation Seamaster. Not a big fan of the mesh bracelet, but yeah, it's cool. Next, we have a controversial piece. This is not an obvious winner, and this is not a winner in any way. We had a very mixed reception with this watch, and this is the Credor Locomotive. Now, the thing about Gerald Genta is that designers like to take risks, and some of those risks pay off after a while, and some don't. The reason why the Nautilus and the Royal Oak work so well is because they had the backing of those two big brands, but the Ingenieur never took off. Neither did this Credor. But if you're a fan of Seiko and Grand Seiko and Credor, this is a grail. On the wrist, it doesn't look abnormal. It just looks kind of different, but not in a bad way. But in pictures, you start to look at those strange integration between the bracelet and the case. But on the wrist, those things don't really stand out as much. It just looks unique. A bit of Genta heritage, a bit of Credor, but at an Ingenieur price. Next on the list, we have an actual Range Rover Sports. This is the JLC Polaris Geographic, and this is as premium as a tool watch can get. Premium, luxurious, but at the same time a through and through sports watch. Now this watch has a travel time function, meaning that you get a second time zone, 24 day and night indicator, and even has an aperture at the bottom that displays the city. So this is like a grail watch for adventurers, rich adventurers, because it comes at $16,000. The last watch on this list is a Breguet 5177 Platinum. This is the quintessential dress watch. You know, we've seen dress watches like the Calatrava, like the JLC Master Control Ultra Thin, and while those are incredibly beautiful, there are a lot of watches of that similar style, but there's nothing like this watch. That's what makes this watch simple but not boring. You have a Platinum 950 case measuring 38 millimeters across with a lug-to-lug of 45.8 millimeters, and considering the fact that this features an in-house automatic caliber measuring under 9 millimeters, that's insane. But this watch from a legendary brand will set you back about $40,000. Black watches are just cool. They go with everything and they're timeless in a way. Now it's your turn. Let me know in the comments which one of these is your favorite. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.